SML, welcome to the first episode of Bushwhacker Breakdown. That's where me and Dan, we're gonna give this show thing a shot, and we'll see how it goes. Dan, you wanna explain to everybody watching what we're gonna do with this?
Bushwhackers! Yeah, let's go! This is a show where we are demanding, we are calling out, we are coming after SML to improve the quality of Madden play, roster movements, and just all-out competency of this league. We are tired of looking around the league and constantly being 8-1, 9-0, running through the regular season. We've got the Super Bowl champion as one of our partners here. We want better and more competition. And so Bomber and I are going to be spending each week with you going through. Sometimes we'll have 3 teams each. This week, Bomber's got a special 2-for-1 deal. But we're going to look at roughly 5 to 6 teams a week. We're going to call out the entire SML. We're coming for everybody. But listen, when we come for you, it's not because we hate you. It's not because you are a bad guy. It's not because we don't want you around. It's because we want you to be better. We are demanding better roster movements, play. We're demanding guys step up and take this serious. And so we're coming after you. The Bushwhackers are here to put the SML on the notice. Does that sound good, Bomber?
That sounds good to me. You can blame Paulie for this Bushwhacker tandem. He created this.
Yeah. He created the monster last year, and so we got a special thing for Bomber. But anyways, we're going to jump right into this. So what we're going to do, we're going to do 3 teams. Like I said, Bomber's got a 2-for-1 special. We're going to look at 1 team in roster. We're going to look at 1 team in gameplay, and we're going to call out a team. We're going to put them on notice. We're going to put them on blast. We demand better play over the next week of SML action, roughly about 3 games. So I'm going to start out right off the bat, and I'm going to the Windy City in Chicago, and I'm looking at my boy Future boy, man. We spent a lot of time last year in the AFC West going back and forth. I'm calling you out on roster movements, and this is what I'm calling you out for, man. From the very beginning of season 2, as soon as we hit week 1, man, I was kind of looking around. I was looking at rosters, looking at things. Man, I saw that you had an outside linebacker on your roster, 23 years old, 87 speed, 80 change of direction. You know how many linebackers are in the entire league that are 87 speed and have plus 80 COD? There's only 14 of them. 14 in the entire SML. You know, excuse me, how many are under the age of 24? I think there's 3 of them. There's 3 linebackers, and you had one sitting on your practice squad. You know what? I was just waiting for week 3, when Prime opened up that place, practice stealing. And I got him as soon as I could. And I looked at, okay, all right, maybe he's got a great linebacker crew. Maybe he's just got this amazing depth. And so I figured, all right, let's give Future the benefit. So I went and looked at your team, looked at who you're playing, and you're starting as one of your linebackers, Danny Trevathan, 32 years old, 78 speed. Now I know, look, speed's not everything, so he's pretty good in some other areas, but he's 32 years old, 78 speed. Like, Future, come on, what are you doing? Why in the world do you have this guy on your roster? Why are you playing him, and why would you leave a young stud on your practice squad so that I could just come and steal him right away? So, Future, you're my first call out here on roster. Get better, man. Get better.
All right, so now it's my turn. I've been waiting all day for this. Going into today, I actually had Mike FML as the guy I wanted to go at the first episode. But then he goes ahead and he picks up Cooper Kupp and Johnny Hecker last night. Great moves for Mike. But who was on the other end of that? None other than Colt 45. Colt, you got to be kidding me. You gave up a superstar wide receiver for a noodle arm quarterback that can't hit deep passes, which is exactly what you like. You've got Tatum, your wide receiver, averaging 30 yards per catch. Tana Hill can't throw 30 yards. What the hell are you going to do with that? You know what would be a great thing to have, though? A nice big route running wide receiver like, I don't know, Cooper Kupp. He might be a good one to have. But no, you get rid of him. For Tannehill, 34
Man.
years old. Even best case, what does he make you? Not a top 10 pick? I get you don't have your first, so it's not a big deal for you. But a high second could get you a decent rookie quarterback. A high third would be nice to have in these deep drafts. It sets you back another $6 million in cap penalties for next season. You could have cut Brissett and a few other backups, and then you had first of all, even if you wanted Tannehill, you could have cut Brissett, who was almost $4.5 million that you could have saved. But you kept Brissett for whatever reason. You had a bunch of backups you could have cut in order to keep Kupp, your superstar wide receiver. You could have had Darnold. Darnold's out there for half the price. You cut Brissett, you cut Hecker, you have enough for Darnold. You get to keep Kupp, and you get a better quarterback who has 88 throw power, which, if I can do the math, carry the one, that's 2 better than Tannehill. You're 4-5 with games still left against Green Bay, Seattle, the Giants, Carolina, San Francisco, the Chargers, the Patriots, and the Falcons. Playoffs are out of the picture anyway, so it's not like you're going to put together this great late season run. All you're going to do is screw yourself for the future. You said this is your long-term plan, though. I don't know how a 34-year-old quarterback in Tannehill is included in a long-term plan. And if he does play better, like you said, it's just going to ruin your picks for the season coming up. I just don't understand this move at all. And then on top of that, we're not even going to look at the fact that you gave a 27-year-old wide receiver who's a 77 overall, Martez Valdez-Scantling, who I'm sure you signed off of free agency like every other 77 overall 27-year-old receiver. You gave him a 5-year deal that goes from $6 million in year 1 to $7.5 million in year 5. So clearly you don't give a damn about cap. You're picking up guys that are probably have a comparison on the free agent list right now that you can pick up one every year. Just no clue what you're doing over there. And then you just go full fig and try to defend it. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, I wanted to make a mention of that. We do have a new name for that. Well, explain what does that mean, going full fig?
So full fig is when you make an absolutely terrible roster move, and then you just spend all day fighting the other 29, 30 owners on why you think it's right. Just admit it and move on. The first step to get over it is to admit you have a problem. Colt, you have a problem when it comes to team building.
Full figging it. I like that. I think that's a new trademark name. Full figging it.
And let's not forget, you're less than a year removed from letting Michael Thomas walk for nothing because he was not good enough either. Which is going to bring me to well, first I'll have my advice for you. I told you we'd shit on you, but then we'd throw you some baby wipes to wipe yourself off. So I have some advice to where to go from here because you've really just shit all over the bed on this one. You can take next year's first, move it for a first this year. Try not to give it to a guy that's going to have, I don't know, Prime's pick, Dan's pick, my pick, so that you just end up screwing yourself even further. And get a QB this year. I don't know why you think Tannehill's your long-term plan. You also have 2 guys on your roster that are younger, and luckily you gave them both 4-year deals at least. But you got to find your quarterback of the future. It's not Tannehill. His 86 throw power doesn't fit your type of gameplay anyway, with your Tatum going 30 yards per catch. Even if you don't move back into the first, you need a quarterback, so use your second on a quarterback if you're not sold on one of the 2 young guys you already have. But they're going to be there for, like I said, 4 and 5 years each. Stop giving players that are older than 25 years old long-term deals that are going to be $5 and $6 million. Martez Valdez-Scantling is going to be like 32 years old by the time his contract's up. He isn't going to be worth that $7.5 million you're going to have locked up on him. And then you'll be cutting another superstar to make room.
There's a new term that we got to tell. Stop signing Jags. You know what a Jag is? Just another guy. Don't sign just another guy. Don't sign him to a long-term deal. A guy you can pick up in free agency, a guy that just, anyone can have him at any point. And to what you're saying there is, these wide receivers, these deals he's doing, they're just Jags. They're just another guy. Just another guy.
I just look at it. Martez Valdez-Scantling's making $6 million this year, and you cut Cooper Kupp. But you kept Scantling for the next 5 years, 6 years. That's insane. And draft corners. Stop piling up on the safeties. You've got 4 safeties, 24 or younger, that you could develop, but they can't all play. On the other side of that, you've got 1 corner under 27, and his deal expires this year. Just all over the place when it comes to team building. But part of that is probably because of your gameplay, and we're going to move into that next. So topic 2 is going to be gameplay. I was going to go after Fins for this one, but you just swooped in and saved the day for Fins. So first off, you got rid of Cooper Kupp because you said he wasn't doing anything for you. You said the same thing about Michael Thomas last cycle. Please stop pretending that the stud wide receiver is the problem. The first step is acknowledging you have a problem, and in 2 cycles, you've cut 2 of the better wide receivers because of production. Maybe you should look at why are you not getting them the ball. You're using some 70 overall tight end and Martez Valdez-Scantling as your 2 guys. You've got better guys. Stop trying to just throw everything deep. There's no reason Michael Thomas shouldn't have been your leading receiver last year, and no reason Cooper Kupp shouldn't be this year, especially with the upgrades to the way route running matters.
Yep.
So it's just insane. If you're getting rid of your best player every year because they're not doing enough, maybe it's you that's not doing enough to get them the ball. And maybe that's why you're 4-5 and you're missing the playoffs every season. Maybe take a look at that.
I think I heard him actually even say in chat he was guaranteeing a NFC Championship game in the next 2 seasons.
NFC
Did I see that right?
game in the next 2 seasons. Hasn't made the playoffs since I've been in the SML.
Yeah.
So now that you have your noodle arm Tana Hill, you're going to wish you had a receiver like Kupp, which you don't. But you're going to have to, if you're going to keep trying to make these big splash plays like your 30-yard Tatum catches, your 86 throw power isn't going to do it. Just ask Spooky. He did the same thing, and he's shopped Burrow everywhere because 86 throw power isn't going to do it, and you're still going to be out a quarterback in the next 2 years anyway. Defensively, I don't know what your obsession is with 3-3-5. I don't know if it was on some YouTube you watched, but if the 49ers and Josh Jacobs come out and single back with 3 tight ends, don't use it unless you really want to see if he can get 10 yards of carry. I have no idea what you're doing on defense. I see lots of blitzes, lots of 3-3-5, regardless of the offensive formation. Defensively, just match personnel. If they come out with 2 wide receivers, you come out in anything from 4-3, 3-4, 4-4, 4-6, 5-2. Any of those are better than sitting in 3-3-5 and just watching Josh Jacobs run all over your defense that you slant to the left for some reason. 75 to 90% of the time, it's going to be a run if they come out under center like that. And you just keep putting yourself in a disadvantage before the snap even happens. Maybe that's why you got the 32 ranked defense. Now that you've got your $16 million spent on 10-yard passes, you're going to have to use them. So your halfback and your rookie, which are already your top receivers, that's not going to change. But now you're going to have to do something different with Tatum. You've got this guy that you've been trying to build up with 32 yards per catch. That isn't going to happen, or you're going to have your interceptions go way up, which this season, surprisingly, you haven't been that bad with interceptions. But you gave up the throw power, so now you have to play conservative. And stop with the hit stick. Just stop. You whiffed on so many tackles in that 49ers game that I watched. Just stop with the hit stick. And that's all I've got on Colt.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, it's almost like people don't know how to win, and that's where I'm going with my gameplay. I'm going to the Packers up in Green Bay and Monty. I watched his game last night with DW and the Jets, and there are just decisions made throughout the game that prevent you from winning the game. Like you're actively trying to help the other team win because you are calling some of these things. Just a few simple things I saw. You're up 7-0. You hold the ball, or you hold them on defense. You force a punt, and then instead of calling a fair catch, which I'm telling the league, 95% of the time you should just call a fair catch. I mean, you can tell if the Gunners are maybe 20 yards away. If they're 20 yards away, go ahead and return the kick and get a few yards. 95% of the time, a punt return, you're only getting 5 yards, maybe 7 yards. But what are you risking? A fumble. And that's exactly what happened against DW and the Jets. You're up 7, getting the ball. You get a 5-yard return, and your returner coughs it up, gives up the touchdown. All right, no problem. That happens. Now, late in the first half, DW gets the ball. He's down at the 1-yard line with 1:03 left in the first half, 1st and goal at the 1. And you have 3 timeouts, and you don't use a timeout. Now, again, I know it's easier to stop at 1st and goal, but chances are, if they're at 1st and goal at the 1, they're going to score a touchdown. Why not try to preserve as much time as possible so that when you get the ball, you could potentially score? Nope. You just let DW run the clock down to 30 seconds, DW snaps it, scores a touchdown. You get the ball with 30 seconds. Don't do anything. Go into halftime. All right, that happens. Third quarter, you make the big move this offseason, or kind of during the middle of the season. You get rid of Rodgers. You bring in Mac Jones. We all know Mac Jones has a limited throw power. All right, so that's fine. You can run an offense that way. You can do some things, but no, here you are throwing kind of these deep posts, these deep plays, back-to-back interceptions. Give DW the ball, allow him to score. Again, it happens. Now you're looking at the fourth quarter. You're down by 3. You have the ball. You have a minute and maybe a change. You have all 3 timeouts. What are you doing? First play. Are you looking for something simple? Are you looking, I just need a field goal. I just need to move the ball. I got all my timeouts. Maybe I throw a run in there. Nope. First play again. Another 20-yard deep in trying to throw when the defensive back has inside leverage and you try to throw an in. Now again, I may be not understanding, but if the defensive back has inside leverage and you're throwing an in, that means he's probably going to be in the way through the pick. Even still, you did a good job holding DW and you hold him to a field goal. You're only down by 6. I think you had about 30 seconds left. You still have a chance. And you actually do a really good job. Move the ball all the way down to, I believe, about the 14, maybe 20-yard line. You have about 10 seconds left. Great. Okay, you got to score a touchdown. Throw the ball in the end zone. Throw the ball to the sidelines. Nope. What do? You throw another in the middle of the field and get tackled inbounds, and you get the clock run out because you have no more timeouts. Come on, Monty. All you had to do was just play some basic fundamental game management, and you could have walked away with a W. And yet, time after time after time, you just continued to do the same things that cost you to win. I know you can play. I see some good things in your game. I see some things where you make the right reads, you good hit stick. But if you can't manage the game, you're not going to win in the SML. So, Monty, I'm calling you out. Get better at that. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a team on blast. And this is a way to motivate some teams out there. There's some teams that got a big week coming up in the SML. And for my first team I'm putting on blast, I'm going to one of my favorites in the league. I know I give him a hard time. I know I come after him all the time. I tell him how much he's never beat me in the SML, how he was my first win ever in the SML, and he was 0-11 last year. And so I'm coming after you, Paulie. That's right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm putting you on blast. You got 3 games coming up that you have got to win. You are under 500. You're in the NFC, very winnable conference. You can make it to a Super Bowl this cycle, Paulie. I know you've been busy. I know your BFF just stabbed you in the heart by trading Hardman. I know that there's a lot of sadness going around in Tampa Bay. You're looking at Tom Brady. He can't move like he could before. But you got to get your act together. And I'm calling you out against the Lions, the Panthers, and the Cardinals. If you don't go 2-1, at least 2-1 over these 3 games, then next week when we come back here, I'm going full tilt on you, Paulie. I'm going all in on you. Come on, man. You are better than this, and you can do more than this. So you're on blast this week. I need at least 2-1 out of the next 3 games.
All right. So my team is going to be the Patriots and double beans, no rice. We came into this season. He starts off 2-0. Super hot team. I think he beat Meats, and I think he beat ZZ. All of a sudden, Stone Searchin's talking about who's the top teams in the AFC East, and they got the Patriots as number 2. He's moving them ahead of Meats, who's a guy that's been to a Super Bowl. DW coming off a playoff season where he won 11 games. And since those 2 wins, what has Double Beans done? Not a single win. You lost to the Bears. You lost to the Jets. You lost to the Browns, the Dolphins. Then you got 2 ties. You tie the Packers. You tied the Bengals. The fucking Bengals. Spooky's a bottom 3 team in the league, and you tied him, and you're supposed to be number 2 in one of the toughest divisions in the SML. Are you kidding me? That team looks awful. You went and got Stafford and his big arm. He's thrown 14 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, averaging 9.9 yards per attempt. That's 22nd in the league with QBs over 100 attempts. 22nd. That's awful. Now, left on your schedule, you've got the Steelers, the Ravens, the Vikings. That's all coming up next 3 games. After that, you've got the Jets, 2 against the Bills, the Broncos, the Lions, the Rams. The outlook is not good for the Patriots. And right now, it looks like you're headed for a top 5 pick. You're just looking awful. So with your next 3 games, you've got the Steelers, which is Matt. Matt's starting Haskins. He should be on the show. And I'm sure he will soon. You've got the Ravens out there. Ravens, he's been playing on and off. And then you got the Vikings and Demus who's turning it on. That's 3 tough games, but if you're going to be the number 2 team in the AFC, you need to sweep those 3 games. And then you've got a couple more winnable games after that, and maybe you can make it respectable. But right now, that's just awful. 2-4-2, and one of them's the Bengals. Get out of here. Double beans, no rice. You got to do better.
Nice. It's going to start to come put up and shut up time in the NFC and the AFC. And so we will be the first teams to be calling teams out. But hey, look, we're open for invitation, though, too. Like we said in the beginning, we're not here just to bash on you, although we spent a lot of time bashing on some teams. We're here to improve the SML. So we put out an open call. Anyone wants help, anyone looking for advice, anyone looking to get better, anyone disagreeing and want to talk and dialogue about it, man, we're here. We're open for it. We want to improve. We want to give credit where credit's due. I actually have to apologize to a team. In the off season, I told Spooky that he had a terrible off season when in his trade with Paulie. Now that trade isn't really affected on Paulie's record this year, but really, like, Spooky might have seen something in Paulie that he knew this downfall was coming. He just was maybe a season too early. So Spooky, you know what? Hey, maybe you were onto something. Maybe this is the season that you need to swap first with Paulie, because Paulie's might actually be worse than yours if he doesn't get his act together. So hey, we're the first guys to admit when we're wrong. We're the first guys. We're not going to fig it either. We're not going to be stubborn when we make mistakes. But you know what? We're also not going to sit around the SML and just kind of watch teams just implode week after week. We're not going to sit around the SML and just go through the motions and win every game that we play, because you know what? We want better. And so this is the open call to the SML. Get your act together and start playing better Madden football.
All right. Well, then, until next week, everybody don't make any dumb moves or you're going to be on the Bushwhacker breakdown.